Another video with the Ford and another leaking fluid. This time the valve or rocker cover has a bit of an external oil leak developing. Actually, I think it's the original gasket still in there, so given this car's age, it's not done too badly, and this was always going to happen at some point. If you look along here at the rear, above the exhaust manifold, you can see a bit of oil escaping. This isn't too bad, but when it gets worse, which it will, it's going to start to drip onto the exhaust and then start burning. So it does need dealing with. Now, as I said, this is to be expected with age, but a leaking valve cover can sometimes be a symptom of a bad PCV system, which allows air into the crankcase and then sucks out oily vapors through the PCV valve, which is hidden under the intake manifold on these engines. If that ventilation gets clogged up for any reason, you can end up with back pressure at the top of the engine, which will firstly make a mess of what's supposed to be the breather and maybe your air filter. And if that all gets clogged, then you could actually end up putting positive pressure on the engine internals, in which case you can blow out the cover gasket. So that's not the case with this engine, but I just wanted to outline that because there's no point in putting in a new gasket for it to just be blown out again. So I'm going to show you removal of the valve cover and renewal of its gasket. You need to clear all the bits and pieces away before the cover can come off. And I'd suggest starting with the HT leads or the coil-on plug units if you have them instead. Either way, when you remove the boot off the spark plug, have a look at the rubber to check its condition. Some of these are clean. Some have a bit of orange powder on them, which I'm not actually sure about. It may just be the product of water getting in there, or it could be what's called corona staining from the plug itself. Anyway, this is another area you may have a gasket failure if there's any oil in the spark plug wells. So from time to time you can check that everything here is clean and dry like these. And if there is oil, then that's another reason the gaskets will need replacing. So with the leads removed and put somewhere safe, it's a good idea to give everything a bit of a clean before proceeding. Valve covers are usually dirty and you don't want dead spiders falling into the engine as you remove it. I also cleaned off the oil leak as best I could. This is brake clean I'm using, just to minimize the mess while everything is still together. Then you can start taking the other bits off. This is the PCV breather tube. Really, it would be best to remove it as shown directly from the valve cover, but in my case the rubber has spent a few too many hours directly adjacent the exhaust, and it's clearly pretty shot, and I was going to destroy it getting it off. So I decided to just leave it be and instead remove it at the airbox end, which is easier. It's a little bit inconvenient because the pipe ends up remaining on the cover, but it works. And this is what you would check for lots of oil, by the way. A little is okay, but if it's clogged up with a mess, then the other end of the PCV system probably has a more serious issue. There's a camshaft position sensor on top of the cover, which has to come away. A simple hex bolt, and then it pulls out. And the electrical connector is a simple clip. Take it away and put somewhere safe. Then the injector electrical plug needs disconnecting because it clips to the valve cover. Just undo it and push the two parts of the clip out of the way as best you can. And the plastic studs for the engine overcover need to be taken off because they sit on top of 3 of the valve cover bolts on special studs, threaded rods. These have a 15mm plastic hex on them, which you can just turn with a deep socket, or just use a crescent spanner. That could work, but be careful with them as they're just plastic, and if you bend them sideways, they will break. Once they're off, some of the studs have some more layers of onion to peel off. The alternator cable and main engine wiring is bracketed in place here. You need to undo the hex nut and then pull the bracket off and try to shove it somewhere where it's not going to get in the way. Same applies to the second one at the front, and don't lose those brackets or their nuts, of course. Okay, now the actual cover bolts can be worked on. There are quite a few of them, I think 14, all around the perimeter, and it's critical that you don't omit the two in the center. If the engine is dirty, then they can be easy to miss. They sort of end up getting camouflaged. They're just 8mm hexes, but because a few of them are built into those threaded studs, you really do need a deep socket to reach them. Now you could use a spanner, but I'd advise against it just in the interest of avoiding damaging the hexes. These bolts are specialty parts which you won't be able to replace easily, so a good quality socket is what's best used to turn them. And you also need to turn them with a torque wrench later when tightening, so you will really need a socket no matter what. Anyway, go around and undo them all. Now you will find that they don't actually come away from the cover, at least not easily. I think if you continued undoing them, they would sort of thread their way out. But without doing that, they're actually captive in their holes in the cover. So you can undo them until the thread is clear of the engine head, and then they'll be loose. You can move them up and down, but they won't be free to remove. So you can just leave them at that point, and you won't lose any of them when you won't mix them up. So that's actually quite helpful. Once you're sure that you have all of the bolts undone, it's time to take the cover off. But unless you did the same job just last week, it's not going to just lift off. The heat and the hardening of the gasket tends to glue itself to the head, so this can be a bit of a bear. The object is to get it off without damaging either the plastic cover or the soft aluminium of the head. So firstly, you could get a rubber hammer, like I'm pretending to have here, and go around the edges of the cover and give it all a firm smack. The idea is the shock there will help to loosen up the seal, but at some point you will need to try prying it up. There are precious few areas where this can be done easily and safely. I found this little nib at the engine rear, at the intake side, that was useful, where a open-ended spanner could be applied, as you see here. Now the trick is to pry only on the outer edges of the cover. The gasket runs inside the bolts, so if you're doing this, you're well away from the gasket surfaces, which are what really matter in this case. And then I was able to slide a screwdriver into the same spot, again making sure not to penetrate as far as the gasket, the bolts keeping the screwdriver away from the gasket in this case. And again, another screwdriver over on the other side in a similar situation. And at this point, the hard work is done because once the gasket lets go in the one area, it tends to then progress all the way around and it can just be levered off. You can see how stuck this gasket was to the head, and some of the spark plug gaskets preferred to stay on the head rather than in their holder in the cover. Okay, then with the cover away, put down somewhere, I'd suggest that you immediately turn your attention to the head and give things a clean. You need to clean off the head surface where the gasket goes in preparation for the new one, and you want to do it quickly to get rid of any dirt and detritus that may fall into the engine given the opportunity. I'm using brake clean on a rag here. You want to sort of rub away from the camshafts when doing this. You don't want to be rubbing any dirt into the engine. Work your way all the way around and just get the surface nice and clean and dry. You don't need to remove all the varnished oil. That's actually not where the rubber will be sitting anyway. You just need to get it clean of dirt and oil, and not to mention any bits of old gasket that might be remaining. And there's one other bit that does need attention, which is the joint between the front timing cover and the head, where the gasket sealant is used to make the seal. You need to cut away the old sealant from this area. It's just silicone sealant. It just scrapes off easily. But what you can do is insert a rag around the chain, as shown here, to catch anything that goes flying, because you just wouldn't want it to fall down into the chain area. And then use something like a razor blade to cut the sealant flush with the head surface. Now obviously don't use a sawing motion, just hold the edge flat against the head and scrape gently. You do not want to scratch the head. And then with that finished, I'd then cover the whole thing with something, newspaper or whatever, and maybe close the bonnet so as to protect the internals while you are working on the cover, which is where you can turn your attention now and to the new gasket. So obviously remove any and all pieces of the old gasket that are stuck in there, and all the other thing that you'll need to look at are the same areas where that sealant goes, because there will probably be bits of that to clean away. Now, by the way, this old gasket is noticeably harder in the area where it was leaking, and I'm guessing that was because of its proximity to the exhaust. The heat has just ruined the rubber in that section over the years to the point where it was no longer capable of sealing. You'll probably want to clean the valve cover itself. I wouldn't go too crazy, and a bit of clean oil remaining on it is obviously fine, but you should clean away any sludge, dust, debris that might be there. I'm using brake clean here just around the gasket line to try to run out any dirt. You can use a brush, a small brush, get in there. And on the outside, I use some detergent and hot water to just clean away the dust and dirt and grime that gets caked on there over time. And whatever you do, you want to leave it to dry thoroughly before putting it back on. Right, so when it is dry, I'd go round it one more time with a clean rag and just ensure that gasket area is nice and clean. And then it's time to worry about the new gasket. I bought a Mahler brand one. It's not Ford or Motorcraft, it's not genuine, but I like Mahler as a brand. I use their filters, and it was a good choice, a good price, I think. So check that it's the correct fit, whatever you've bought, and then go ahead and open it up and get it ready. The spark plug gaskets are pretty obvious in how they fit in. Just press them in gently like this. And then the main gasket is a bit trickier to locate. You have to find these tabs. There are two thicker sections of the rubber at the locations where it sits above those the timing cover joint where the sealant goes. And then the bolt in the middle is offset between the two. So that locates it because you've got those 3 points. And then you just need to turn it the right way around. It can go, inside out or the correct way. And then you know that it's correct. And at that point, you can just work your way around. You locate it by each bolt and push in the sections in between. And the final stage of preparation is to redo that sealant. You do need a gasket maker. This is a Permatex product, but the brand's unimportant. It just needs to be oil compatible, and you should read the instructions that come with it, whatever it is you've bought. This one requires 24 hours to cure, and there's also a 1 hour pre-torque wait, so bear that in mind. Anyway, this job just requires a small amount of sealant at those joints, just like this. And on the other side, and this is just to make up the tolerance in the joint that the rubber can't handle on its own, so you don't need a lot. If you do use too much, it's just going to get squeezed out and make a mess, and it's superfluous. And then the valve cover goes back on. Carefully position it in place and then lower it down. Try to do it exactly vertically, and make sure that there aren't any of those wire looms or clips that get in the way. I would try to make the contact with the sealant only the once to avoid disturbing it too much. And if you get some of the bolts in their threads while the cover's still lifted away from the head, that will locate it, horizontally perfectly for you. And then you can slowly go around and make sure that you can get all of the bolts threaded just by finger. And then once it's actually down, go around and do up all the bolts finger tight. That will check that everything has been located correctly. So then Permatex wants the sealant to be left for 1 hour with the bolts done up finger tight before they're tightened. I guess that's to allow the sealant to set just a little so that it has some strength, consistency to it before it's compressed against, which makes sense, I guess. It's only a little sealant, but I don't want it leaking from those areas, so best to do it right. It only has to leak from the one spot for it to be a failure, so best to do it correctly. And then the bolts can be torqued. Now, there is a specified pattern, which is basically to work from the inside out. That's usually the case. This is the Ford spec, courtesy of Torque Ford. You can pause the screen here and look at this. And the specification is 10 Newton meters for each bolt, which is not very much. So you definitely want to use a torque wrench. You do not want to over tighten these bolts, and you do not want to strip a thread. And I'd go over them more than once because, like tightening up wheel nuts, or that sort of thing, where when you tighten one bolt, it often makes the others loose again. So go around and keep testing the torque until the bolts are not moving anymore at the 10 Newton meter specification. Then all that's left is to put everything back together on top of the cover, reconnect the PCV breather pipe, reconnect the injector wiring loom, put the camshaft position sensor back in. I'd take a look at it while it's out and just give it a clean. Make sure its little O-ring gasket particularly is nice and clean. And anyway, it just inserts back in its hole and the retaining bolt needs tightening. I did this to 10 Newton meters as well because that seemed reasonable. And of course those brackets for the main wiring loom, get them in place, and when you do their nuts up, I would also use the torque wrench, but dial it back a little from the 10 you had it set to before. I set mine now to 8 Newton meters because remember you are tightening on the stud, which is one of the cover bolts. So you want to make sure that you don't go moving that same bolt inadvertently if you use too much torque. And the same applies to the other bracket, except that one also has the plastic stud for the top protector. Remember that's a 15mm hex, and I'd also tighten it to no more than 8 Newton meters. And the other studs can go on too. Hold them while you tighten them, otherwise they can snap. Ask me how I know. Lastly, the HT leads need to be pushed back on, nice and easy. Just make sure the right lead goes to the right place on the coil pack, or if you have coil on plug, then obviously you need to do the bolts back up. And that's really it. After the curing period for the sealant, 24 hours in this Permatex case, you could check that it has in fact cured, and then what I would do is drive the car somewhere such that it gets up to temperature and the oil has a good splash around internally, and then just inspect around the edge to make sure that there are no more leaks. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Have fun.